So before Thor became the king of laughs, lightning, and Led Zeppelin, we were introduced to...
You are an old man and a fool!
Ugh. Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here, and welcome back to Marvel Month. Today we're going to be taking a look at Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh, released in 2011. In the land of Asgard, Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, is about to be crowned the new king. But when he angers his father Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins, he is banished to Earth until he can prove his worthiness. While he's there, he meets a group of scientists, one of them played by Natalie Portman, who helps show him the ways of Earth and how to be a better, more responsible person. Meanwhile, Thor's adopted brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, plans to bring an army of frost giants to Asgard and take over the throne. So Thor must find a way to get his powers back and return to Asgard to stop Loki. Some of you following the MCU now might know Thor for being the lovable goofball filled with badass entrances. Some of you might know him as the tragic hero that should have gone for the head, but before Phase 3, where Taika Waititi made a huge retcon, we had this version of Thor, which is more grounded, more serious, kind of cocky, but still very entertaining to watch. I think Chris Hemsworth definitely does a good job. He's really charming and likable. You know, he starts off kind of, bratty and annoying, but then once the story gets going, he becomes a lot more human. He gets put in his place a lot, and, he definitely evolves and adapts and stuff like that. So it's really nice, once again, seeing, the progression of a character as, a god, a literal god, become more human. And speaking of the story, it is definitely the weakest part of the movie. They basically just do the whole fish out of water story where, he starts off in this magical land full of gods and Vikings and everything like that, and then when he pisses off his father, he just gets sent down to Earth, and it's basically just a fish out of water story. They do stuff to still make it entertaining. I wasn't bored. It's not like Incredible Hulk where I was just bored watching it. It is still pretty standard. It's still entertaining to watch. I like the human characters. I like the scientists. I think they do fine. And I think the interaction with Jane and Thor is really cool and really sweet at times. I think all the actors do a really good job. Like I said, Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, I think he does a really good job as Loki. As a character, he definitely gets better and better as the movies go on. But, as an introduction, I think he does fine. I think that the movie looks really amazing. This is probably one of the most gorgeous looking movies, at least in the Phase 1 series, probably ever. The world of Asgard looks really impressive. It looks really big and really huge and really epic, which again kind of makes it all the more disappointing when they decide to do the fish out of water stuff, because it's Earth. We've been there already. We've been there before. Spend some more time in this area that we've never seen before. And I believe that they do, explore Asgard a little bit more in the future movies, but still. I think the fish out of water stuff lends for some pretty funny jokes, which I think a lot of that sort of stuff, the stuff with, Jane kind of trying to correct Thor and stuff like that, a lot of that sort of comedy or an attitude, a lot of that was probably carried over into Thor Ragnarok, those kinds of moments of, Thor having to be, put in his place or told off and, put down a peg or whatever. So I really like that. The action is pretty fun. The effects are pretty alright. They do some more stuff to set up S.H.I.E.L.D. They also start a long-running tradition of having Loki die, which becomes a running theme throughout some of the other movies and a running thing that happens. Although, given Infinity War, I don't know if it's possible for him to come back from this one, although I've heard some pretty interesting theories about it. I don't really know much else to say. I mean, the movie is fine. This is probably like one of the most inoffensive Marvel movies ever. Like I said, it wasn't stellar. Like I wasn't really coming out of this like, oh, I want to watch this over and over again after this. But at the same time, I wasn't, you know, bored. I wasn't like constantly checking the time and stuff like that. I wasn't constantly getting distracted. But you know what? It's fine. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's a nice introduction to this character. You know, it sets up some good stuff for future movies. It's not perfect. It's got a lot of problems, obviously, but you know, whatever. It's perfectly serviceable. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. So, but anyway, that does it for another episode of Marvel Month. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the first Thor movie when you saw it. How does it hold up all these years later? And now that we have 3 Thor movies, which one of them is your favorite? Although I already know your answer, it's going to be Ragnarok. But anyway, tune in tomorrow when I take a look at Captain America, the First Avenger. Until then, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on what I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel, everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
Million miles away, your signal